Morning, guys. My name is Gifford, and today I will be presenting my eyewitness research report, which will be about the 2014 South Napa earthquake. Now, the 2014 South Napa earthquake occurred on August 24th, 2014 at 3:20 a.m. The magnitude of the earthquake was 6.0, and this happened in the North Bay in southern Napa on the West Napa Fault. Now, my personal experience with this earthquake is that this happened during my junior year of high school. This happened the morning before class on my first week of class, and the earthquake happened at 3:20 a.m. So at the time I was asleep, and when the earthquake happened, it suddenly woke me up. I could remember like the rumbling and shaking of everything in my room, from my lamp to the lights and my fan and to the glass jar of where I keep all my coins. So my immediate reaction wasn't to like hide under my bed or hide under the table. My immediate reaction was to go on Twitter and read everyone's reaction and just tweet mine out as well. So, and just to show you guys, I actually did tweet out my reaction. And I am showing my tweets front and center right now, where I tweeted out who felt that earthquake at 3:21 a.m. And a few hours later, I documented like, oh, that this was the strongest earthquake that we've had in 25 years. Now, the tectonic setting of this earthquake was that it happened on the West Napa Fault. And the West Napa Fault is an extension of the Calaveras Fault, which is a branch of the main San Andreas Fault. So it's a branch of a branch of a branch of faults. And the West Napa Fault is a minor right strike slip fault on the Contra Costa Shear Zone. And what the Contra Costa Shear Zone is, it's an area of minor faults. And the epicenter of the South Napa earthquake is that it lies 1.7 kilometers west of the West Napa Fault. Now, if you look on this map here, it shows the intensity and the shape and the perceived shaking of the South Napa earthquake. And if you follow my cursor, this red line right here represents the West Napa Fault. And 1.7 kilometers west is the epicenter of the South Napa earthquake. So the most extreme instrumental intensity and perceived shaking happened along the West Napa Fault and along the North Bay. As it stretches along outwards, it gets less and less intense. And obviously, the whole part of California, Northern California, has weak to light perceived shaking and intensity. And though I live in East Bay, I live in Alameda, I can recall the shaking was pretty strong. So I can't imagine what it was like for people that live in the North Bay with this extreme perceived shaking and instrumental intensity. Now, the geologic setting of the South Napa earthquake was that it happened in the Napa Valley. And in the Napa Valley includes a bunch of landforms such as bodies of water. These bodies of waters include Lake Hennessy, Lake Berryessa, Napa River, and Sonoma Creek. And it also includes mountains and mountain ranges such as Vaca and the Mayakama Mountains. And one famous mountain is that a bunch of you probably know is Mount St. Helena, which is the peak of the Mayakama Mountains. Now, the formation of Napa Valley was formed by geological events over the past 150 years. These geological events include tectonic plate movement, volcanic activity, erosion, and the intermingling of different soil compositions. And these different soil compositions are what make Napa Valley famous. And what does it make Valley famous for? Wine. So these different soil compositions make Napa Valley having it makes Napa Valley have the most fertile soil on the planet. So these different soil compositions include volcanic soils and different soil series. And the causes and effects of this earthquake was that this earthquake was a result of a rupture of the West Napa Fault. The length of this rupture was about 8 miles and up to 18 inches of slip. Shallow afterslip occurred after the main slip and lasted for several months. An additional 5.5 inches of afterslip was measured after 24 hours, and after 48 hours, another 8 inches occurred. What followed afterwards was a number of aftershocks after the main quake. Nearly 80 aftershocks were recorded in the month after the main earthquake, And with this earthquake, what occurred was a lot of damage and injuries. Between 80 to $100 million in damage was recorded because of this earthquake, and about 200 people were injured. And unfortunately, one death did occur during this earthquake. How geologists and the community learned and adapted from this earthquake and situation was that geologists learned that what specific buildings suffered from the most damage. These buildings included buildings along the West Napa Fault, buildings on top of soft sediment, buildings that were built before 1950, and wood frame houses that were not retrofitted for current standards. Now, it's important to note that it's impossible to prevent natural earthquakes, but as a community, we can prepare for it. So, what the Napa Valley community prepared for future earthquakes is improved on historical and government buildings. These buildings now include the United Methodist Church, Goodman Library, Napa County Courthouse, and the United States Postal Service building. This concludes my presentation on the 2014 South Napa earthquake. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.